There comes a season in every person's life when everything feels cold. The warmth of progress fades, the noise of recognition disappears, and the world seems to stand still. It's the winter arc. Every life has its seasons, and not all of them are bright. There are moments when everything feels frozen, when progress halts, when hope feels distant, and when life itself seems to hold its breath. These are the cold seasons of life, the ones that strip you down to your core and challenge your spirit in ways comfort never could. The world's tough. Embracing the cold seasons of life isn't about pretending the cold doesn't hurt. It's about learning to walk through it without losing your warmth, without letting the frost creep into your soul. The cold season isn't your enemy. It's your training ground. It's where strength is forged quietly, where patience grows roots deep beneath the surface, where character takes shape in the silence of struggle. When life turns cold, your instincts tell you to hide, to retreat, to wait for spring. But those who grow, those who evolve, are the ones who stay in motion even when the air bites and the world goes dark. It's easy to be motivated when everything feels alive, when opportunities bloom like flowers around you. But what defines a person is how they act when nothing is growing, when every step forward feels like walking through snow, heavy and slow. In those seasons, your resolve is tested. You learn that comfort is a luxury and discipline is survival. You learn that success isn't built in the light. It's constructed in the dark, one deliberate step at a time, when no one sees your struggle and no one praises your endurance. The cold teaches you to be self-reliant. It strips away all the noise and distractions, forcing you to face your raw self. There's something purifying about hardship. It burns away illusions and leaves only truth behind. When life is easy, you can hide behind excuses, distractions, and false confidence. But in the cold, everything unnecessary falls away. It's just you, your pain, and your choices. You can give up, or you can dig deeper than you ever thought possible. Those who choose the second path discover something powerful. The cold can't touch a heart that refuses to surrender. The cold seasons are also the great equalizer. No one escapes them. The successful, the struggling, the dreamers, the broken. Everyone eventually faces their own version of winter. But the difference lies in how they respond. Some see the cold as the end, while others see it as the forge. It's not what happens to you that defines you, it's what you do with it. Every storm you endure, every long night you survive, adds layers to your strength. You start to realize that growth doesn't always come wrapped in beauty. Sometimes it comes in silence, in pain, in isolation. And yet, when you embrace the cold instead of fighting it, you unlock a part of yourself that warmth could never reach. The cold seasons demand faith, not the kind that relies on proof or comfort, but the kind that keeps moving even when the path disappears beneath the snow. Faith that the effort you put in now will bloom later. Faith that the pain you endure today will build the resilience you'll need tomorrow. The world might seem frozen, but underneath that ice, life is still happening. Roots are growing. Strength is building. Purpose is forming. The cold is not a pause in your journey. It's a chapter that refines your will and prepares you for what's next. To embrace the cold seasons of life is to stop fearing them. It's to understand that every winter has its purpose, every storm has its lesson, and every breath you take through the frost brings you closer to a stronger, clearer version of yourself. When you stop running from the cold, you realize it was never meant to stop you. It was meant to sharpen you. Silence is often misunderstood. People fear it because it feels empty, uncomfortable, or isolating. Yet silence is not a void, it's a crucible. It's the place where the strongest voices are born. When the noise fades, when the crowd disappears, and when the world stops applauding, that's when you're left with the rawest version of yourself. It's in those quiet moments that you learn who you are, without the opinions, validation, and distractions of others. The truth is, real growth rarely happens when the world is watching. It happens in silence, behind closed doors, in the unseen hours where no one else is there to cheer you on or lift you up. The silence tests you. It strips away everything you used to hide behind. Your confidence built on praise, your motivation tied to recognition, your energy fueled by competition. When all that's gone, and it's just you and the weight of your own thoughts. That's when you face the truth of your character. Silence reveals your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities. But it also gives you the space to confront them, to understand them, to rise above them. The person who can thrive in silence, who can find purpose and power in stillness, becomes unstoppable when the noise returns. Most people need noise to feel alive. They need constant validation, constant feedback, constant reminders that they matter. But the ones who learn to build themselves in silence don't depend on the world to tell them who they are. They create their own voice, their own strength, their own identity. When you learn to operate in silence, you discover a discipline that doesn't need attention to survive. You stop chasing approval and start chasing excellence. You begin to realize that the loudest impact often comes from those who once walked quietly through their own battles. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's the space where you learn to direct your thoughts instead of being ruled by them. It's where patience replaces impulse and reflection replaces reaction. In the stillness, you learn to listen, not to others, but to yourself. The world is full of noise, everyone trying to speak louder than the next person, everyone trying to be seen. But the ones who master silence learn something the rest forget: power doesn't always need to be heard to be felt. Sometimes the most commanding presence is the one that doesn't shout, the one that moves with quiet confidence, grounded in unshakable purpose. When you build in silence, you build depth. Every rep, every late night hour, every quiet decision to keep going adds a layer to your foundation. No one sees it, no one praises it, but it compounds. The world will eventually see the results, but by then it's too late. Your strength has already been built. Your voice has already been shaped. The silence forged it. You don't rise because people believe in you. You rise because you refuse to stop even when no one noticed. The strongest voices don't come from those who've always been heard. They come from those who learned how to endure when they weren't. They come from those who found purpose in the quiet, who learned to use silence as fuel, who turned their isolation into evolution. When you've built yourself in silence, you don't need to speak to prove your worth. Your actions speak for you. Silence gives you that kind of power. It turns your pain into presence, your solitude into self-mastery. It shapes a voice that doesn't demand attention. It commands it. Discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. It's the raw, unfiltered space between who you are and who you're meant to become. Most people spend their lives running from it, avoiding anything that brings pain, struggle, or challenge. But those who truly evolve understand that discomfort isn't an enemy. It's a guide. It points you toward the areas of your life that need growth. Every time you feel resistance, every time you're pushed beyond what's easy or familiar, life is offering you a choice. Retreat back into safety or step forward into transformation. The ones who choose the second path become something entirely new. Growth is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to stretch you, challenge you, and break the patterns that have kept you stagnant. Discomfort tears down the walls you've built to protect yourself from failure, rejection, and fear. It exposes your limits not to humiliate you, but to show you that they can be expanded. The muscles of your mind, body, and spirit only grow through pressure. Just as iron sharpens iron, your character sharpens through struggle. Without the burn, there is no strength. Without the friction, there is no progress. Discomfort is not a punishment. It's the process of evolution, unfolding in real time. The truth is, you cannot change while staying comfortable. Comfort is a cage disguised as safety. It keeps you from chasing dreams, from taking risks, from finding out what you're truly capable of. When you stay where it's easy, you stop growing. You might feel secure, but you're quietly dying inside because your potential is being suffocated by your own fear of pain. Transformation requires sacrifice. The sacrifice of comfort, routine, and certainty. You have to be willing to lose who you are to become who you're meant to be. And that journey always begins with discomfort. The path of discomfort is not glamorous. It's full of doubt, exhaustion, and moments where quitting seems easier than continuing. But those are the moments that define you. When you push through the pain, when you keep moving despite the burn, You send a message to yourself that you are stronger than your feelings, stronger than your excuses. Every moment of discomfort builds resilience, and every ounce of resilience becomes the foundation of greatness. You start to realize that the pain you once feared is actually your teacher. It's showing you how much more you can handle, how much farther you can go. Discomfort also builds self-awareness. It strips away illusions and forces you to face reality. When you're challenged, you learn what truly drives you, what truly matters, and what you're willing to fight for. You can't hide from yourself in discomfort. It brings your weaknesses to the surface, not to shame you, but to help you confront them. It makes you honest. It makes you humble. And in that humility, you find clarity. You stop living for comfort and start living for purpose. You begin to understand that pain is not the end of growth, it's the evidence of it. The greatest transformations in life don't happen in moments of ease. They happen in the moments that hurt the most, when you're uncomfortable, uncertain, and on the verge of breaking. That's where real strength is born. Discomfort doesn't destroy you, it rebuilds you. It shapes your mind, fortifies your will, and expands your spirit. Every time you step into discomfort, you're rewriting your story. You're proving that fear no longer controls you, that comfort no longer defines you. And in that transformation, you discover what it truly means to live. Not safe, not easy, but alive, growing, and unstoppable. Patience is not weakness. It's one of the greatest weapons a person can possess. In a world that glorifies speed, instant results, and overnight success, patience has become a lost art. Everyone wants progress, but few are willing to wait for it. Everyone wants growth, but not the grind that builds it. Patience separates those who chase moments from those who create legacies. It's the quiet strength to keep showing up, to keep pushing forward, even when results are nowhere to be seen. It's the ability to endure the wait, to embrace the process, and to trust that everything unfolding, even the struggle, is part of a greater plan that you can't yet see. When you master patience, you master your emotions. You stop rushing the journey out of frustration or fear. You stop comparing your timeline to others because you understand that growth takes time. Just as seeds take months before they rise through the soil, greatness requires its own season of silence. The people who give up too early never see what was waiting for them just beyond the delay. Patience teaches you to trust the process, even when it's slow, to find peace in persistence instead of panic in waiting. You begin to see that everything worth having, strength, discipline, mastery, character, is built over time, not overnight. Patience is what keeps you steady when life tests your endurance. There will be times when progress feels invisible, when your effort feels wasted, when you question whether the struggle is even worth it. Those moments are when patience becomes your weapon. It stops you from breaking under pressure. It reminds you that temporary stillness doesn't mean failure. It means preparation. Every delay is teaching you something. Every obstacle is shaping you. Every pause is positioning you. You may not see it now, but patience helps you understand that success doesn't always arrive when you want it to. It arrives when you're ready to handle it. Impatience leads to mistakes. It pushes people to quit before the reward, to settle for less, to abandon the path the moment it becomes uncomfortable. Patience, on the other hand, builds depth. It sharpens focus. It gives you the power to think clearly while others panic. When you're patient, you're not just waiting, you're working while you wait. You're growing in silence, preparing in the shadows, building a foundation that won't collapse when pressure hits. The world doesn't see the work, but when the results finally appear, they look effortless. That's the power of patience. It hides its grind but reveals its glory. Patience also teaches humility. It reminds you that timing is not always in your control. You can give your best effort, but you can't force the outcome. That realization grounds you. It teaches acceptance without surrender, endurance without despair. You stop fighting the clock and start respecting the rhythm of progress. You begin to understand that waiting isn't wasted time. It's the time that molds you into the person capable of receiving what you've been working for. The waiting sharpens your vision, strengthens your resolve, and disciplines your mind. Those who learn to wield patience become unshakable. They move at their own pace, unaffected by distractions, immune to the chaos of comparison. They understand that true success is built one deliberate day at a time. Patience is not passive, it's active endurance. It's doing the work when no one's watching, trusting the timing when nothing's happening, and believing in the outcome even when it feels impossible. It's the inner calm that whispers, "Keep going," when everything else tells you to stop. Patience is the weapon that turns frustration into focus, delay into development, and waiting into winning. When spring comes, you'll be unstoppable. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you've already endured everything that could have broken you. Spring is not a gift, it's a reward. It's what arrives after you've faced your winter, after you've walked through the cold, the silence, and the struggle. The warmth feels different when you've earned it. The sunlight hits harder when you've fought through months of darkness. Every ounce of pain, every sleepless night, every moment you wanted to quit, it all becomes fuel when the season finally changes. You don't just return, you rise. And when you rise stronger, sharper, and hungrier than ever before. The people who survive the winter are not the same as the ones who entered it. They've learned how to fight without comfort. The world's tough, how to believe without evidence, and how to keep going without applause. The spring doesn't create their strength, it reveals it. The cold stripped them of weakness. The silence built their discipline, and the struggle taught them patience. So when the warmth returns, they move differently. They don't waste time celebrating small victories or fearing future storms. They know the value of the work that was done in the dark. They've earned their power through pain, and now they use it with purpose. Spring represents rebirth, not of the world, but of yourself. It's the moment when everything you've planted in the hard times begins to bloom. Every decision to keep going when it hurt, every choice to believe when nothing worked, every act of faith when doubt surrounded you. Those seeds take root and grow. People will look at you and see success, but they won't understand the winter that built it. They won't see the nights you endured in silence, or the storms you survived when no one cared. But that's what makes it beautiful. You don't need them to understand. You know what it took. You know what you became. When spring comes, your energy shifts. The same challenges that once broke you now barely shake you. The same mountains that once seemed impossible now look climbable. You've grown roots deep enough to hold you steady through any storm. That's the power of enduring the cold. It gives you an inner foundation that no external force can shake. You stop needing motivation because discipline has become your nature. You stop needing validation because confidence has replaced insecurity. You stop running from pain because you've learned it's the birthplace of power. You've been tested by the winter, and now you move through the world with quiet, unstoppable strength. Spring is not about ease, it's about opportunity. It's the time to use everything the cold season taught you. It's the time to build, to create, to push with relentless focus. When you've endured long enough in darkness, the light no longer blinds you. It energizes you. You start to realize that every hardship was necessary, every delay was divine, and every ounce of struggle prepared you for this moment. The person who comes out of winter doesn't just chase dreams, they execute them. They no longer wait for the right time, they make it. They don't hope for things to get better, they make things better. When spring comes, the world's tough. You'll understand why the winter had to be so long, why the struggle had to be so hard, and why you couldn't quit when it hurt. You'll see that it all had meaning. Every challenge, every setback, every frozen moment shaped you into the kind of person who can't be stopped by circumstances anymore. You'll no longer fear the next cold season because you'll know what it created inside you. The storms don't scare you, the dark doesn't silence you, and failure doesn't define you. You've already faced the worst and turned it into strength. When spring comes, you'll move through life with a calm fire, the kind of strength that doesn't shout, but radiates. You'll know you earned your peace, your power, your purpose. The world will see your rise, but only you will know the cost. And that's what makes it real. When spring comes, you won't just be back, you'll be unstoppable.